This evening, we've invited a prominent member of our athletic community to share some wisdom to the athletes in the room as they look forward to the next steps in their careers and lives. Tonight's guest speaker is Ithaca College baseball coach George Valesente. George graduated from Ithaca College in 1966 after a standout soccer, basketball, and baseball career with postseason runs in all three sports. He particularly excelled in baseball, in which he set multiple school records, including the most runs scored in a single game. Following his Bombers career, Coach Val entered minor league baseball, advancing to the AAA level with the Buffalo Bisons. In 1979, he returned to his alma mater to become IC's head baseball coach. The Bombers have appeared in 29 NCAA tournaments and 10 College World Series, while capturing 18 league titles and 2 national championships in 1980 and 1981. George has won over 1,000 games with Ithaca College. He's also coached 18 All-Americans and 31 players who've gone on to sign pro contracts. All of these accomplishments propelled Valesente into a 2014 induction into the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame. I would like to present tonight's guest speaker, legendary Ithaca College head baseball coach, George Valesente.
Thank you very much. I'd like to set the record straight here, first of all. There are a lot of wins that have been accumulated, and many head coaches get a lot of credit, and unnecessarily so, because without the assistant coaches and the administrators and the help that goes along with that, these things are not possible. You know, I get really good athletes at Ithaca College, and we try to do our best, and obviously, you know, I've never won a game by hitting a ball or throwing a pitch. So all of these credits that have come my way in the last several years, probably because I'm pretty old, are appreciated. But I need to recognize the people that work with me who do a great job, and they're outstanding. And nothing of this ever would have happened without them. But anyway, this is a banquet to honor, you know, coaches, athletic directors, and athletes, and it's a wonderful thing. I know Mr. Todd Mallinson invited me to speak here a little bit, and it's the second year in its existence, and it's a tremendous honor for student athletes, which is outstanding. I deal on a regular basis with maybe 100 student athletes a year that are interested in coming to Ithaca College. We sit in my office for about an hour. We discuss issues. We talk about their academic status. We talk about their commitment. We talk about their ability to compete at the collegiate level when it really gets to be more of a challenge. But before I get into that, I would like to step back and talk to the coaches here. Coaching is a challenging profession, an admirable profession. Coaching is quite possibly the second most scrutinized activity that a male, female adult can take on, other than our politicians. And you've won awards here today, and you were honored here today, and they're certainly deserving. But my respect goes out to you for what you teach these young ladies and men over and above the successes that they have with regard to their games and their competition. You're helping them grow. You're helping them become adults. It's a difficult process, as we can all remember when we were 13, 14, 17, and 18 growing up. There were a lot of challenges. Your guidance, your leadership, your direction, your rules, requirements, and everything are establishing in these young people characteristics that are going to help them for the remainder of their life. Little do they realize that. When I was a young athlete, starting in Seneca Falls, New York, a little small town up the lake, little did I realize what sports and what coaches were going to do for me and what they meant to me in the long run. But as we grow older and we look back and we appreciate some of these characteristics, I can say that my recognition of you and my honor of you is what you do for them that is not recognized. That very rarely do maybe youngsters and or their parents come back and say thank you for what you've done to help my child grow. So you need to be honored from my standpoint for that particular skill or characteristic that you have. I found a very interesting story one day, and I'll share it with you. It was unique. I was talking to a young man who was coaching a youth team. I don't know if it was a 12-year-old team or whatever it was, but he had a young person that came up to him and said, "Coach, I'm not really doing very well, and I really think that I need to leave the sport. I need to quit." The coach says, "Well, really, why would you want to quit?" And he says, "Well, I'm not really, playing well. I'm not enjoying it as much." And the coach looked at him. He says, "You can't quit." And the young man looked at him and said, "Why not?" He says, "It's too late. You had to quit 2 weeks ago." Well, the kid looked at him. Well, interesting story, but that's a true story. And the parent eventually thanked that coach for not letting that young person quit. You make a commitment, and you try to stay with it through all of it. Now, let me turn to the athletes. Wonderful awards today. Wonderful accomplishments, without question. When you make the move to the next level, some of you are seniors, some of you are not, there's going to be challenges. There's going to be a great deal of challenges in the classroom, on the field, in the court, in the pond, in the pool, whatever it is. Coaches are going to ask you to do things that you may not be comfortable doing. Every athlete that comes into our program, we have a small school, Division III school. There will be over 60 to 70 athletes that will come out for our baseball team this fall. 60 to 70. Only 9 will start at the varsity level. So you understand the competition that you're going to be up against. The choice you have is to accept the challenge or walk away. I hope you accept the challenge. I hope you do not go to a school and say, "I do not want to participate because I need the time to do my schoolwork." That's a mistake. Take on the challenge. Try. Do the best you can. I have perfect examples of that. 2 young men came to play for us a while back, one from Gloversville, one from West Hill High School in Syracuse. In our fall program, neither one of them were very skilled. The catcher had difficulty throwing, blocking, hitting. Not good. The position player was a third baseman and a pitcher, and he wasn't going to hit very well, and he didn't pitch very well. Well, anyway, at the end of our fall season, we sit down with our athletes, and we explain their strengths and their weaknesses. These 2 individuals, we explained to them exactly. Coach Fazio, who's many of you know, is outstanding. He's always in a room with me. But anyway, we explained the deficiencies that these 2 young men had. We sent them to our JV program. They came back the second year, they were improved. They didn't play very much at all. Went home and played summer baseball, came back the third year, started to play quite a bit. It turned out by the middle of the junior year, our catcher, this young man that couldn't throw, hit, or catch, was our number 1 catcher. The pitcher was our number 1 pitcher. And I believe that I can use the term will over skill. Will. The will to do something. These 2 young men challenged themselves, and we challenged them. They both currently play professional baseball. And if that is an example of what you can do when you leave here and where you can go. So don't ever sell yourself short. We have a young man, I listen to ESPN, Menard and Silverman quite a bit, and so on and so on, and we had a young man that played here by the name of Tim LaCastro. You might hear his name periodically, about every 2 weeks or so. Well, Tim LaCastro was from Auburn, New York. Was about a 6'1", 150-pound young athlete who had something about him. And I'm not talking about his skill. I'm talking about what this young man brought to the field every day. He kept improving, he kept getting better, but never once did I have to tell him to hustle or work hard. He practiced to the best of his ability, and he had fun doing it. He wanted to be there. He had a look on his face. He elevated people around him. So what kind of teammate can you be? You don't have to be the best player. He was the best player, but ironically enough, he was the most well-liked. Hard to accomplish. But he elevated people's skills and talents around him. And currently, obviously, he's playing professional baseball. And He brings more to the team than you can imagine, an indescribable kind of attitude and an infectious kind of an attitude that elevates everybody, including the coaches. Including the coaches, because you just love to be around a young man like that and to see them succeed. So my point is that you're going to move on to the next level. The challenges are going to be great, and they should be. But go after it. Don't back off. Take it on. And even if you don't succeed at first, continue. Push yourself. Strive. Because the characteristics that you're learning as you grow are going to make a difference when you become an adult and you start to get out into the real world. That's what you're developing in the sports world. The sports world is supposed to have an educational value, and it does if it's done correctly. And you're learning and growing. And don't be afraid to turn around and thank your coach or your mom and dad. God bless all of you, and may you do very well in the future.